So Jeffrey, welcome back to Multicore World. It's a real pleasure, a real honor to have you back. But that brings the question, why? What do you see? Because you come all over the world from Tennessee to Multicore World.
Sure. Well, I have, this is my third trip
Correct.
to Multicore World. After COVID, this is the first trip after COVID. And so I'm very excited to get back. There's a lot going on in the world. Try to get out and engage the other parts of the community. And so I find a lot of those people are here at Multicore World.
No, we are flattered because you come from Japan and then...
Yes,
So,
via Japan.
Yes, the shortcut. Now, I'm interested to ask you about a technology that I started to hear recently, the chiplets, and I understand that you are working on that. Your group is working on that, and my interest is around that, let's call it bespoke design towards certain specific applications, but not ASIC style, but a cost-effective one, particularly on my quest about agriculture empowered by supercomputing. Is this something that goes somewhere? Do you see any application of that?
Sure. I am excited about chiplets. I think it opens up the opportunity for many small companies, small vendors, researchers to prototype new types of devices that really have been cut off from that ability. And the idea is that you have chiplets that do the mundane things, do the things that everyone needs, memory access, network interfaces, just normal controllers that manage the board, those types of things.
Yeah. I mean, a very, very mundane analogy, this banner, I just order it online in a bespoke way, and then they ask him to be couriered here. I live in other island.
Sure.
Is this something, a supply chain model that I can say, okay, I want to measure a number of variables in a farm, and I need that specific sensor with that specific computing capability, but I don't need a million of them.
Well, that's that, ideally that's the hope. Now the fabs and the other parts of the ecosystem may not, it'll be interesting to see where that cut point is.
Yeah.
How specialized of a device can you actually make? We can all see devices for automobiles or very specific HPC systems, or like we saw here with SKA, perhaps an ASIC at SKA that does the things they need to do. But it's not clear if it will be that ultimate model of each one being customized, so everybody can go download it like a sign. Ideally, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
and there may be ways to do that.
I mean, we have the 3D printing, we have the open source standard of RISC-V,
right.
And in the other hand, the TSMC CEO and founder said a few months ago, opening in Arizona, the new plant of worth billions, they said, well, globalization is dead. In terms of how are we building this towards our own needs, and pushing that technology independence concept based on the food. If we are going to use technology, we can have a lot of independence, but if we are technology dependent, we won't go very far. But if we can do our own chips, we still depend on materials, but with a 3D printer and a cool design. I mean, ARM started in a very similar way once upon a time.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a lot to do with the ecosystem. And I think with all the fabs and the CHIPS Act in the United States, there's going to be a huge push to create new prototyping facilities, ways that you can have shuttle runs in the fab that include many different types of processors, not just one. And so that, if that breaks through in the economic side of things, then it could be literally having chips fabricated for one use, right, or one specific item.
So I hope that you come back to Multicore World in the next edition.
Sure.
Of course, you are invited, but what would you show us in the next year or 2 or 3 years?
Well, hopefully I'll show you a more advanced design for our chiplet.
Cool.
That would be one thing, but also the software. We're doing a huge amount of work in software for heterogeneous computing, and so perhaps we'll talk about that next time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Pleasure.